Today we're going to talk about foreclosures, the foreclosure process in Puerto Rico. That's a subject that is near and dear to my heart. For 20 years, that's how I bought like 95% of the real estate that we did over that period of time. We haven't even touched it here in Puerto Rico, but you're an expert. Hey guys, we're so excited that we just went over the 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel here. So our community is growing, we're growing fast. We really are loving this and we're enjoying putting out this great content for you. We appreciate you so much for helping us get past that number. It's really significant for us. And now we change our goals immediately. We're hoping to push to 10,000. So like, comment, smash subscribe buttons, share the videos for us everywhere. We believe that we put out more content about Puerto Rico than anyone else on the planet. So we've got several videos. We talk about all things entrepreneurial, real estate investing, bringing debt to the island. We meet great people who are doing wonderful things on the island, and you'll see all of that information here on this channel. That's why you subscribe, and we're so excited to have you be part of the community. Thanks again. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're with Robert Segui. He is our friend, our partner. We're going to talk about foreclosures, the foreclosure process in Puerto Rico. That's a subject that is near and dear to my heart. For 20 years, that's how I bought like 95% of the real estate that we did over that period of time. We haven't even touched it here in Puerto Rico, but you're an expert. So Roberto, you want to say hi and introduce yourself really quick, and then we'll jump right in.
Hi, I'm Roberto Segui. I used to work for banks, managing foreclosure processes, and I develop an expertise in distress loans. I represent investors buying foreclosures at courthouses. Courthouses are a good place to go and look for opportunities. Go and look for properties that have equity, that have a lot of potential, that are currently available.
And we are just seeing finally, after the flu, the courts are now again in the process of foreclosing and going through selling at auction at the different courthouses around the island, where for the last couple of years they had put a moratorium on that stuff. So there's kind of a backlog, is that correct? Want to talk to that a little bit?
Yep. So not only have the amount of foreclosures increased, but the amount of bidders going to those opportunities and judicial sales decrease. So you have a balance right there that creates opportunities for individual investors or groups that are interested in finding deals.
Let's talk about the way that the foreclosure process works here, but it's a little bit different than many places in the States, and I'll just preface it. So in Florida, for instance, where I'm very familiar, you go to the sale and you bring 5% of the money at the time of the auction, and then you have 24 hours to bring the rest of the cash back.
Yeah.
So it's a very quick timeline, but here it's a little bit different, even quicker and a little bit more strenuous.
It's different, but before getting into the details of how you pay for an acquisition through a foreclosure process, let's talk about what's prior to that. Legally speaking, lawyers are, it's mandatory for them to publish these processes. So, you have enough time to know what property, which debtor is going through the foreclosure process. So you'll have time to prepare and do some due diligence. Once you feel comfortable with the deal, you'll go on a specific auction date at a specific time to the marshal's office, and depending on the municipality, you'll go to the Fajardo courthouse or the San Juan courthouse to be able to acquire these properties. Pricing and actual payment, you are not able to leave the courthouse without paying for the property.
In full.
In full. And since this is a moving target, because if you have more than one bidder, you're gonna actually do a live auction right there on the spot. My suggestion to any investor interested in going through this process is to take multiple 35 checks up to the amount that you're willing to bid. Otherwise, you're gonna get outbid. If you bid and you don't have the money, you can actually get banned for life. So
For
you
life.
Yeah, for life. So you won't be able to attend that same courthouse.
There are also some other differences here in Puerto Rico than there are in many parts of the States, which has to do with the amount of times that the property goes through the sale before it might actually be bought by an investor. So it's a one-time sales date in Florida, but here they actually have a system where you do 3 different sales dates. You want to talk about that a little bit and
Correct.
tell us how that works.
When a bank has a mortgage or a financial institution has a mortgage over a property, they'll actually give 3 dates. And the reason they do that is because the person, the borrower, might be paying for some time and he might have a balance for less than the original amount, than the original mortgage amount. So the rules are, in general terms, the following. The bank will take the property at the full amount on the first sale date. And full amount means full mortgage original amount. On the second, it's 2/3, and on the third, it's half. Yeah.
What have you seen recently with the amount of foreclosures that are coming to the island versus maybe say over the last couple of years?
So there's been an increase in foreclosures, I would say, within the last 6 months. It's mostly related to the increase in interest rates. And that has definitely affected people and borrowers that were caught on their mortgages and now they're not.
Yeah.
Banks, they don't have any option. They're structured, they're highly regulated. They have to foreclose, once somebody's 90 days past due. So yeah, there's an increase in the amount of foreclosures that are going on, and there's less bidders now.
Yeah, and there are some things that survive the foreclosure sale. We talked about that a little bit off camera, but taxes are one, HOAs are another, maybe other liens that don't get named properly can be another. So it is really the most difficult, the most dangerous place for anyone to go and buy a property. I think in Puerto Rico, it's even maybe a little bit more difficult, but what about if someone's living in it and you buy it? How long does the process take to get it out? Who's responsible for that? And what are the pitfalls?
In general terms, I wouldn't recommend buying a property that is actually occupied. If it's vacant, go for it. There's several ways where you can manage properties that are occupied. You can do cash for keys. You can talk to the owners and negotiate an exit date, which I've seen a lot. I've offered either from $500 to $5,000 to vacate the property. Yeah. But it could be tricky. Once you're able to talk to the person occupying the property, either the tenant or the owner, it's good because you'll have a sense of, is he gonna leave the property in good condition? Is he gonna steal everything from it? Is he gonna break it down?
Let's talk about what kind of discounts or what kind of deals can you expect to get if you go to the foreclosure sale versus like buying them on the open market? Is there some significantly good reason that you would take all of this risk and go to the foreclosure sale? What are your thoughts on that?
So one of the things that you have to consider is that when you're buying a property on the open market, there's someone actively marketing that property. And that might be a real estate agent or it might be the owner. They're eager to find somebody who's willing to pay top dollars for the property that they're selling. When you're buying a property in foreclosure, there's nobody marketing this, at least not actively. And the bank, which is not in the business of foreclosing properties, they just do it because they have to. They do not consider this a process to maximize profits. So you could find deals there with 50% equity. I mean, I have bought properties for $1,000. I have bought properties for $1 million, but they all had enough equity to make the deal work.
Right.
Which is key. I mean, at the end of the day, on any real estate deal, it's about the numbers.
Right.
So if you're able to find better numbers in a judicial sale out of foreclosure, why not?
And then we talked a little bit earlier about the condition of or whether you can get into these properties prior to the sale. And so there's some risk there. But do you have a general rule of thumb as to like what the property is going to look like on the inside compared to the outside, or do you use that kind of logic when you're looking at a foreclosure that, let's say, you can't get into?
Yeah. For the properties that you're unable to see the interiors, you should assume that a full renovation is needed. That where you're calculating your maximum amount on renovations. So if the maximum improvement is going to be $100,000 in improvements, then you're able to reverse engineer the process from the actual value of that property to be able to arrive to the maximum amount that you're going to be able to bid. So that's key. If at the end of the day you are able to get in and you realize that no new windows are needed, that the flooring is good, that there's no leakage on the roof,
you win.
Then it's better for you, because
Absolutely.
now you have more equity and less amount that you're gonna be spending on renovations.
Yeah. And so how can people find these lists of foreclosures, or is it like everything else in Puerto Rico where there's very little data on this stuff?
Well, it's true that there's very little data, but there's two places that I would recommend to go to if you want to find a property that's going through foreclosure. One of them is the actual courthouses. They have a bulletin board where they will paste the edict, and the edict has all the information related to the legal description of the property, the sale dates, the time, the minimum bid for each sale date. You'll have the contact information of the lawyer. But if you don't want to drive, to the different courthouses, you don't want to be going to San Juan, Carolina, Fajardo, Humacao, what I would recommend is subscribe to edictosySubastas.com. They're doing a good job now, and they have most of the foreclosures in there. And from your computer, you're going to be able to check most of the foreclosures that are going through the different municipalities.
Right.
So edictosySubastas.com, they give you the whole picture. They give you the legal description, they give you the sale dates, time, minimum bids, amount. They'll give you the address plus a map you can click on to see the location. Sometimes they even have one or several pictures of the actual community or the property.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's interesting. And the information on the lawyer. Lawyers are helpful in this process if you contact them.
The actual lawyer who represents the bank.
Correct.
That's doing the foreclosure.
Yeah, they will give you the information. Hey, we're thinking of acquiring this on the first or second or third auction date, and that way you don't lose time because you know where and when to show up.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like the best place to get the information, to get all of the information, is to actually go to the courthouse. But that's the most work. That's the most cumbersome way to do it. But you'll have all of the stuff. The service that you're talking about provides most of the information, but they're probably going to miss some stuff, which is really nice. So if you're going to do this foreclosure business, if you do all of the work, you'll have an advantage over the people who just rely on the service. So they're going to miss some outliers, and the outliers are where you can really profit. At least that's how it's been for us over the years.
Yeah.
Robert, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching till the end. Give us a like, leave a comment, smash the subscribe button for us, you guys. Thanks for helping us to grow the community. And yeah, Dolly.